Up in the morning and out of the rack. Morning, truck buddies. So it is 6:16 a.m. I always talk about if you park up on site at a delivery, you got to make sure that you're ready to go. All right. I got here yesterday evening. Like I said, you always follow your directions when you get to wherever you're going. But when I trip planned or when I stop right quick to do a load check, I wanted to see where to go in at the Lowe's. So I was going to go in down that way. You turn right towards the business and take that first left. I was going to take that first left. But there was a sign, there was a small white sign that says all deliveries Lower Drive. It should have just said next street or straight ahead or something like that. But there's a reason why they do that. Didn't know why. But okay, so I went to the second entrance, went all the way around the building. I seen the gate, so I went past the gate a little bit, pulled off to the side. The reason why they have that, one, a Western Express truck came in from this way. I guess he didn't see the sign. So he stopped. And, like I said, the sign, there's 7 to 4. It's well after 5 o'clock. And he's, walking around, looking around, knocking on the door. Like, man, you're not going to get unloaded. So he proceeded to come towards me and drove all the way, flying past me to go take that right back around where I came through. The only problem is they have a lot of stuff there. They have riding lawnmowers, freight, lumber. They have a whole bunch of those outdoor four-wheelers, like the Polaris. They got some of those there. So it was real tight for me. So he comes whipping around the corner, and he has to stop. So he got all the way back there almost, and he had a pretty much blindside bag all the way back towards me. Of course, I moved out the way so he could do what he had to do, and he had to go back up all the way back towards the opening back there. Another guy pulls up, but he had sense. He was another flatbed. He entered that way also, but he stopped well over that way. Looked around, he walked around. What I would do, if you're not too sure what was going on, he walked all the way around the building and see which way he had to go. He said he had ran to the store manager. And he said sometimes they have, 9-10 trucks lined up in the morning. So that's why they have everybody come through that second entrance. And that road is like it's on a dead end street. So if it gets that bad, everybody can park on that street and you're out the way. It's like an assembly line. So that makes sense. So like I said, he got in his truck, he went around, and I seen him pull up behind me. But like I said, at the time, I didn't know what he was trying to do. So I said, okay, well, maybe he's gonna try to back in behind me, and then we'll just figure it out in the morning. So I walked back there and talked to him. He was like, no, it's one way. I talked to the store manager, so I'm just gonna stay right where I'm at. It's all right, cool. He said, no, once I get unloaded, he'll just take my spot. Like I said, them are things you gotta think about, of others and just, not want to impede traffic, because I know it was a one-way. But it makes sense how they have it set up, because, you want to have it as smooth as possible. So I just, I pulled forward, but then I back up to my spot a little bit. So now fast forward to this morning, another truck about to do the same thing. Of course, he got so far, he only got about to where the shingles were at, but he backed straight up. He got situated. It was a van driver. I see another truck backing in, but it was a Lowe's truck. So how I was staggered, which I forgot all about, that they have a truck that they load first thing in the morning. Where I kind of parked, I was out the way, because I know if I was in the way, they would have knocked on the door and told me to move or pull forward or whatnot, which would have been no big deal, because I'm in the way. You can't give people an attitude if you're in the way. But they were able to get loaded with their few deliveries, and they pulled forward in Charlie Mike. Now, me, I pulled forward and backed up. I try to get staggered on this. There's a line right there in the middle where the concrete is. I'm trying to be in the middle of that so they can get to both sides of this lumber, and I can just get unloaded and get out the way. So my plan is, I'm not sure there's any space around that corner around there. So once I leave out, I can leave out the parking lot, pull forward on the street, and back all the way back until where the dead end is, just about, and be out the way. Be out the way of traffic, so everybody can come in and do what they have to do, then get dispatched fairly quickly. Yeah, we'll see. But like I always like to thank my subscribers, like to thank everybody for tuning in, my new subscribers, my day ones. Hey, if you're new to the channel, if you're thinking about coming to TMC and you're thinking about changing your career path, hey, do a lot of research. A gentleman messaged on the last video last night or yesterday evening. It's like, he was a firefighter and he's thinking about coming to TMC. It don't matter what your occupation is, police, military, fast food worker, retail, whatever. Make sure you're doing all your research. Do all your research before you switch careers. Because as we know right now, like I always say, trucking is kind of not really stagnant, but it's rough in some areas. All right. Thinking that you're going to leave one company as a driver and go to another company and have better, you may or may not have luck. But when you do leave or change companies, make sure you leave on good terms. Okay? I'm a firm believer in that. Some say don't give it 2 weeks. Whatever, they'll do the same to you. If the company ain't did you wrong, hey, do them a solid. Say, hey, I'm leaving in 2 weeks or whatever the case might be. So if something happens, you can come back if need be. There's a few drivers I left here and they've came back. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you get to where you're at and it's like, oh, man, this ain't gonna work. Maybe TMC wasn't that bad. TMC's not for everybody. I always reiterate that. TMC's not for everybody. TMC works for me because of my situation, of where I stay at. Do your due diligence. Do all your research when you're researching companies. I try to be as transparent as possible when it comes to things that happen on the road, freight, getting home, accidents, or just trucking in general, because it's very important that when you make a decision to come to TMC or to get into trucking, that you kind of have an idea. All right. Like I said, I've been here 3 years. I have 0 referrals. I don't push referrals. Okay. If I happen to get one, that's great. But if not, I'm putting out information that you can set yourself up to be successful here at TMC or at another company. Okay. So like I said, always do your due diligence. Like I said, even the stuff that I say, it ain't gold, or however that saying goes. Like, talk to other drivers, look online, just do everything. Just do extensive research before you jump into trucking. If you haven't been into trucking, me personally, I think the market started to correct itself. I.e., let alone like a little bit of recession going on too. Supply and demand. If folks ain't buying nothing, ain't nobody gonna be shipping nothing. It's just that simple. It's simple economics. Okay? So as a driver right now, to put myself in the best situation to make sure that I have a load, I always try to be empty first thing in the morning. It might not be what you want, but certain areas, they don't have freight. Or you might have to drive a crazy amount of miles to go pick up some freight. So today's Thursday. I'm in Georgia. It should be kind of easy to get back to Florida. I'm already telling you right now, I haven't been dispatched yet, but I already know that the load I get is going to be probably about average, but I wanted to go home. So that's the trade-off that you have. If you have it to where you're making an average amount or less than average, but you're home all day Friday, that's a trade-off. One of my buddies called me complaining yesterday, like, the last few weekends, I've been home, all day Friday. Okay, but now, about a month ago, he was complaining about you like being home by 12 o'clock on Friday. I mean, it doesn't go both ways sometimes. If your fleet manager is getting you home at a decent hour and you got decent revenue to the truck, you got to take it for what it is, and try again next week. Like I said, I'm at a decent amount. I should have one more load. If I'm home, tomorrow morning, afternoon, that's great. On average, I get home Friday night usually. About 7, 8 o'clock at night, I get home on Fridays. If I'm home before that, if I beat my wife home, that's a freaking win to me. Like I said, you gotta roll with the punches. I said, a lot of stuff's out of your control. If you don't like how the company's being ran, like I always say too, buy your own truck. When you buy your own truck, you're financially responsible for everything. So you can't get out here on a wing and a prayer. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can make it. But right now, I wouldn't recommend doing that. That's just me. That's my opinion. There's drivers that do it every day. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? But be ready for all those financial responsibilities that you can have as a company driver. Company driver, you don't have to do nothing but drive the truck, deliver the freight safely, and don't tear nothing up, and you get paid. That's all you got to worry about. As an owner-operator of your equipment, you got to worry about maintenance. You got to worry about breakdowns. You got to worry about, making sure you're getting your own loads, to turn a profit. You need to do X amount of dollars per mile. I'm not sure how owner-operators break it down, so I'm not going to get into that of, what you need to what you need to have to be profitable. I'm not getting into that. That's a whole nother book. I'm not in that book. Some people ask me, like, are you ever going to buy a truck? No. I think if you watch my very first video, my first few videos I did, that was never my goal to buy a truck. That's just me. Some people like being company drivers. Some people, that's their dream, to run their own equipment. That's good too. But I have no desire to tie up a whole bunch of money that I'm already tied on running the truck, on a wing and a prayer and just, praying for the best. So I'm learning on TMC's dime. Like I said, I've been here 3 years, a little over 3 years. If and when I decide to buy a truck or leave somewhere else, I got that knowledge, but do your due diligence. Please, 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 please do your due diligence and do your own research when it comes to these trucking companies, because anybody can tell you anything. Hell, I'm pretty sure the recruiters at TMC tell you anything. The recruiters at Melton, the recruiters at PNS, their job is to get you in the door and get you onboarded to get in a truck. That's just business, So like I said, make sure you do your due diligence. I not keep saying the same thing, but man, it's vital, man, because you can make. Man, I'm telling you, if you're not lined up, you're not set up correctly, you go to the wrong company or whatever, man, you set yourself up to fail. It's still gonna be scary regardless if you do make the right choice. Me personally, I made the right choice coming to TMC. My 3 options, or when I was getting my license, 3-4 years ago, it was between TMC, Maverick, and Melton. I think Maverick wasn't hiring in my area. Melton, I forgot what it was about Melton I didn't like. I don't think they're hiring in my area either. But at the time, TMC was. That was the first company I applied for. First company I got accepted. I think I applied, and I kid you not, probably with less than 48 hours, I got a response back. And I was still in CDL school. So it just worked out for the best. That's just works out for me. TMC gets you home every week. Okay? So you got to also take that into consideration with freight and freight options, getting you back to the house in a timely manner. So that's just stuff to think about. So waiting on a dispatch at 6:30. I think I rambled enough. Like I said, thank you everybody for tuning in and subscribing. I just try to pay it forward and just be a blessing to somebody else. Like I said, all the videos I make, the ones, the good and the bad, especially the bad ones, that's so that you don't experience that. You don't have to go through that. All right, that's why I do it. But stay safe, stay blessed. We'll see you on the next one. Airborne Trucker signing off. right, so that's how you tarp a perfect box. All right. Each pallet is 3,000 pounds. Okay, we've got 18 pallets. So 3,000 and 3,000 at 6,000 pounds. You can't use one strap. The straps are only rated, as you can see, 5,400 pounds. So you do the math. So there's no sense of taking those shortcuts. Go ahead and throw 16 straps, alternate your straps, and secure your freaking load. Just secure your freaking load. It's just that simple. Like I said, 5,400 pounds. It's over 2 pallets. That's 6,000 pounds. You're missing 600 pounds of securement. All right, so since there's 2 straps, that's 10,800. More than enough. Heading down to Gibsonton, Florida. Says no parking. Once I get a little bit closer, I'll check it out and see. And see what I'm gonna do. I'll get fairly close. I'll just stop at the rest area right there on 75. It ain't no big deal. I'll be in Florida and I'll be fairly close to the house. It shouldn't take that long to get unloaded. All right. So, X straps under the tarp. Like I said, that's how you tarp a load. As you can see in the video, when you're trying to secure a load, you want to make sure that you're maximizing your steps. So every time I make a lap around the vehicle, I'm doing something. All right, so when I go, I throw my straps, go back around, throw my other straps. I'm securing the straps. Okay, I'm making another lap. I'm putting up the edge protection. I'm going back around. You know, stuff like that. You gotta maximize your time, you know, to get efficient when you're tarping loads. Like I said, when you tarp a box, it's pretty much self-explanatory. But even with any load, that doesn't make any sense, so it's kind of ugly. You know, you still want to do the same thing. Maximize your time. All right, just don't be walking around aimlessly, wasting steps, wasting time, trying to secure your load. You already looked at it, bam, 6,000 pounds, bam, I'm gonna need 2 straps per, bam, get my straps out, alternate my straps, keep the straps out. Also, you ask, you know, whoever's loading you, is it okay if I start throwing my straps? They'll say yes or no. They say yes, you start throwing your straps. If not, no, you wait back in the truck or you wait out the way and then you wait till they're done. That easy. All right. Easy box, man. You can't get no easier than this. All right. Paid pretty decent, surprisingly. Okay. So that's what that looks like. So we're going to head on out.